she said, how to lower my blood pressure naturally. Boom. She saw my smiling face. She took it. And within a month, she went into her doctor after taking that 4-part course and getting her certificate. And she went in and her doctor was like, you're on we got to remove one of your blood pressure medicines. Your blood pressure is too low. And she's like, oh, okay. So she removed one. So then she came back 4 months later, and she was like, oh my, your blood pressure is really low. I don't understand. What is it you're doing? We need to remove you from that blood pressure medicine. And she's like, Doc, you told me I'd never get off blood pressure medicine. She goes, what are you doing?
Well, hello, everyone. This is Michael Eichten, the Nostalgic Advocate, your advocate for science-backed habits to live better longer. And with us today is celebrity nutritionist Zonya Foco, who is one of the most exciting, inspiring, and unforgettable speakers in America. Known as America's nutrition leader, Zonya has been host of Zonya Health Bites, her weekly PBS show that aired across the nation for over a decade. She is the author of The Fastest Way to Healthy, Lickety-Split Meals, and Eat Real cookbooks, and a recipient of the YouTube Silver Creator Award, which is for crossing 100,000 subscribers. Her numerous online programs help individuals and companies achieve healthier employees by measurably addressing diabetes, depression, cholesterol, blood pressure, cancer, and weight control. Her high energy, crossed with low-maintenance solutions, makes healthy living fun and doable for everyone. You're going to love what we learned together today. Welcome, Zonya.
Well, thank you so much, Mike. I'm happy to be here.
It's just great. As you know, Zonya, I've been on a new journey here of late. Since August 15th of this year, I crossed that line where my A1C became a little bit too high. And so my doctor wanted to put me on some medications right away. And I said, well, whoa. I said, give me some time. I know this person that can help get this under control through really mainly nutrition and through exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And, I probably wouldn't have crossed that line if I would have listened more carefully to you when we first met in 2019. But sometimes I need an extra push to take things more seriously. Honestly, I thought I was doing enough. But hey, we're here to talk about your personal journey and expertise so we can share this with our audience out there. So, Zonya, you're called America's nutrition leader. Can you share your journey into earning that title?
Sure. It started with, I guess, becoming a registered dietitian, nutritionist, personally because I wanted to learn how to control my own weight. And then graduating from college, being at the highest weight ever for me. So just knowing and doing are two different things. So I get that. But then working at St. Joseph Mercy Hospital in Ann Arbor in the outpatient nutrition counseling for the Michigan Heart and Vascular Institute, I was working with people like yourself, Michael, who are newly diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, people trying to lose weight, people trying to get their cholesterol down, their blood pressure down, all these metrics that increase our risk of heart disease and death, and trying to really help them to do it in our world. And so getting those 10 years of experience, people told me I need a cookbook it's not by beef, pork, chicken. I need it by 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and 30 minutes. And I was like, okay, recipes that you can do like that. I'm like, okay, great. And I need it to sit upright on my kitchen countertop. And I need it to tell me how to stock my pantry. And I need it to be super easy to cook from. Anybody in the family can cook from it. So with people with ADD in the kitchen, ingredients on the left, directions on the right. And so I went to the bookstore to find this book, Lickety Split Meals, and it wasn't there. And so I had to write it. And this was exactly what people said that they needed. It's incredibly different, very, very different than any other cookbook. And this is, so how did I get to become America's Nutrition Leader? Because I've written books. That's not the only one. I did a TV show and had that air for 10 years, but also, and how you and I first met is professional speaking. So going out and speaking at conferences and helping work sites with all their employees or helping associations, healthcare center, helping people really figure it out. And it's making it be interesting, right? Making it be interesting. So people say, Zonya, you make a boring subject interesting. I'm like, a boring subject, curse your words. I mean, come on. So between solutions, so getting people with solutions, the TV show, and then now the YouTube channel that has videos to help you with your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your weight, your diabetes, your depression. So simple, quick solutions. So between YouTube, between printed, between online recipes, between all of the things together, I'm there to help you redo your pantry, make sure that your home is a health haven, and help you overcome those barriers to change. So I think I'm America's Nutrition Leader, that because I'm able to provide not just one or two or three of those things. Some people are an author. Some people are a TV host. Well, to be able to bring it all together and really help people meet their goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you have a huge market out there, because I looked this up on the CDC Fast Facts. There are 38 million diabetics in the United States, which is almost 12% of our population. And perhaps even more alarming are the 98 at risk. So that's 38% of the population. And so I went from the at-risk to the right in the thick of things here. So, Zonya, you often reference our food culture as a flood. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So, Michael, I almost love to say, Mike, it's not your fault that you became a diabetic. It's not your fault, because think about it. When you look around, there's a saying about the frog that's if he jumps in a hot boiling pot of water, he immediately jumps out, because he's like, whoa, he notices that his life is in peril and he jumps out and saves his life. But the frog that's in a slow heating pot of water just swims around and goes, man, this is great. The water's getting so warm. I love it. And somebody's like, you better get out. You better get out. And he never jumps out, and he cooks to death. And it's almost like that. We're in a flood, because we're in a flood. We don't notice how much processed food and how much it's on every single corner, and how we have food decision over and over. And we go into our work break room, and you go to every school lunch, every school every party, everything. We are in a flood of processed food. It's finding healthy food. I mean, we live in America. It should be the healthiest food ever. People move from other cultures to our country, and within 6 months, they gain like 7 pounds. And their blood pressure upticks, and their blood sugar upticks, and their cholesterol upticks. And it just happens because of our food culture is toxic. So I like to say, we're building a boat. We're building a boat for you to climb in. America is the beautiful, a lot of great things, but you can have a health haven. You can be in a boat. You can not drown in the flood of processed food. And food doesn't have to be boring. I think we always think that healthy food is boring, and it's not boring. And learning that difference, that's the other thing. A lot of people go, okay, yeah, broiled chicken breast and plain rice and steamed vegetables. You can only do that so many days. No, it needs to be super exciting. So that's why lickety split meals, and then the Eat Real cookbook, and then eatrealamerica.com, where there's over 1,400 recipes, where I'm in partnership with Krista Sanderson. Solutions to never being bored, and that it really is real food. It's about real food. When you think, is it low fat? Is it low sugar? You have diabetes, and you think, well, I need to get rid of all the sugar and the carbohydrates. And people would think normally that's what you need to do. But in all honesty, you just need to have the right carbohydrates in the right amounts with enough fiber and a lot of nutrition and a lot of antioxidants and all the great right kinds of fats in your diet. And what's going to happen is your blood sugar, your body will improve its insulin sensitivity, and then you'll know what to do with that insulin. And it's become compromised by that. So that's the flood, Michael. We all live in it. We all live in it. We have to create health havens at home, climb aboard this boat, be in this boat. And when water starts sloshing in, you gotta, bail it out and stay in the boat. Don't fall off into the flooded sea of processed food, which is our world.
It is our world. Well, I am happy to tell you that since August 15th, which I enrolled in Dodging Diabetes Deliciously, one of your programs, I just earned my certificate yesterday. I completed all four parts of the course. Well, I want listeners to know that. So set out to, first and foremost, eat the right carbs, like you mentioned. Secondly, was to eliminate all added sugars. Now that meant I had to go through my pantry and I was reading labels and oh gosh, I gave away a box of food and my refrigerator is half empty now because we just had eliminated all that. And I'm already at my goal weight. So I'm a month ahead of schedule. I was wanting to lose
Mike.
17 pounds in 3 months. I did it in 2, and I'm not starving I am eating well. In fact, a little later on in the show, we'll talk about that. But it's no wonder why your YouTube channel is really hopping. Over 100,000 subscribers, 1 million views, and one is over 3 million views. So what do people find on your YouTube channel? Why is it so popular?
Well, thank you. First of all, yay you for your huge success, Michael. I'm so glad that you found such greatness in that course, Dodging Diabetes Deliciously, where I've created courses for blood pressure, for cholesterol, for diabetes, because people want solutions to the problem that they have. And so I say, how can I teach you the solutions in those 4 times? And so I'm really big on 4 parts. 4 parts. I can't do it in 1, can't do it in 2, but I can do it in 4 parts. And what they'll find at my web at YouTube, you will find quick solutions. Like I talk about 3 foods to lower your blood pressure, 3 foods to lower your blood sugar. So dodge diabetes with these 3 foods. You'll go there. You'll learn about 3 foods to add. And you'll be like, wow, I didn't know that these 3 foods could help replace other foods that will drive my blood sugar down when I swap these out. And they're 3 common everyday foods. And that gets you started. And of course, my goal is that you'll go, wow, I want to learn more. And everything is in the course, which is online, and they're very affordable. I mean, the courses are $149. Take $149 to solve your diabetes, to put you where you are, and to say, no, doc, I don't need that metformin or whatever. I don't need that. I did it myself. And I find my clients are telling me that their doctor, they're shocking their doc. That's what you shock your doc, because your doc's like, wow, I'm impressed. Nobody ever does this.
Yes.
And it's like, and they're like, what'd you do? What'd you do? Go to Zonya.com, go to YouTube, go to Zonya Foco on YouTube. And you can start with the free videos. I mean, I do one whole 45-minute video that gives you really great advice. But then from there, you can learn about these very affordable, everything you need to know. So that was my goal. When you did that Dodging Diabetes course, my goal is to teach you everything. We talked about dining out. We talked about exercise. We talked about how moving for 10 minutes, getting up and walking around the block, or stepping in place while you watch the news, or just busting a dance moves in your kitchen for 10 minutes after your meal is way more effective than any medication. It drops your A1C by 1 within like a month. it does an amazing job. It's like a 30 to 45% reduction in your blood sugar overall, into being able to move 10 minutes after every meal. And you think, move 10 minutes after every meal? Yeah, move for 10 minutes after every meal. We're not talking like jumping jacks. We're just talking about going for a stroll around the block. And if the weather's not great, just stuff in place in your living room. And so between the keys of exercise, the keys of, we talked about your pantry. I'm proud of you. You gave away a bunch of food. You found where added sugar was in your food. And you're right. It's natural sugars and there's added sugars. There's natural sugars, there's added sugars. And learning that 3 fruits a day are actually great. Treat them as your dessert. Let them be dessert. And
well,
let them
in fact, I want to talk about your cookbook, the Eat Real cookbook. Now,
I like all the tabs on this. I like all those tabs you got in there.
But I'm actually using the online version now, which is much more robust, because it not only gives you great recipes, but it also helps you create your shopping list for the week, and it just makes life a little bit easier. And I thought we could talk about maybe a few favorite recipes. I'm going to share one with you that I actually shared this with Krista earlier today. I had a chat with her. Well, I always like Snickers bars.
Let's tell everybody who Krista is.
Yes.
Krista is my co-author for the Eat Real cookbook that we did together. But Krista is the founder of EatRealAmerica.com, which I'm now in partnership with Krista. And on that website, which this is 100 recipes organized in a 28-day kickstart. Meaning you want to eat right for 28 days, just follow our grocery list, follow our menu, and just do it for 28 days.
Yes.
It will revolutionize your inflammation markers, your cholesterol, your blood sugar, everything just like wonderful. And, but as we all know, we need more than 28 days of menus and ideas. And so everybody says, when are you and Krista writing the next book? We aren't. The next book is the website. I mean, the website is, you go to eatrealamerica.com. It's a membership supported site, and you go there, and there are over 1,400 recipes there. This is 100. It's 1,400. Yeah. And that way you can search even more. You can search on kale, you can search on zucchini, or whatever it is you want to make something with, and it's there. So, and you can do a shopping list. I love it. Okay.
Yes.
So you were going to share a favorite recipe.
Well, I sure am. So, I read about the Snicker inspired dates. And what I was sharing with Krista is the first time I made those, I made them verbatim to the recipe. So I stuffed the dates with the peanut butter. I sprinkled the little crushed peanuts on top. And then I went to drizzle the chocolate, and I had an 80% cacao chocolate from one of our local stores. It doesn't melt very well. And so I thought, well, there's got to be a better way to do this. I actually found out that I could buy a bag of these cacao nibs.
Yes.
So instead of chocolate, which has added sugar, I now have the cacao nibs, and I just do this really quick and easy now. I'll put 3 dates in my bowl. I'll grab a spoonful of my all-natural peanut butter, and then I don't even do the crushed peanuts, because I just put a little extra of the cacao nibs, so I get the taste of chocolate.
Yes.
I get that creaminess from the peanut butter. And those dates give me all the sweet I need.
It's all the natural sweet you need. There's fiber in there. There's all these antioxidants, all these nutrients in there. And so it doesn't turn it, and it satisfies your sweet tooth. Yeah. It's like it goes and it satisfies. So it's the Snickers. And I'm glad that you took it to the next level. Our original recipe was like, let's just make it with cocoa nibs. And we're like, some teenagers may not think that's hip, but you do. And that is the advanced version with just cocoa nibs. There you go. But the cool version is to melt some chocolate chips and put it over it. But anyway, I love it. Yay!
Yeah. So what is your favorite recipe of all these years you've been promoting these? So what's the one thing you just couldn't live without?
This is what I raised my son on, lickety split meals. And I would say in here, there's a tantalizing turkey loaf in here, and there's a Mexican lasagna. The Mexican lasagna is like Taco Bell type food, and it's just super easy. And it's like my husband's most requested for his birthday dinner. And so there's a chocolate amaretto cheesecake in here that is my husband's like all-time favorite for his birthday request every year. So this has really easy, stupid easy, like not so maybe, I don't know, like 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, and 30 minutes. But you got it. And people said I took the oath. I didn't call for anything unusual in this book. I didn't call for kale. I didn't call for quinoa. I didn't call for anything unusual. But then people were like, well, I want to learn about all that farm to table stuff. What about bok choy, and what about kale, and what about quinoa? So, and that's what meeting Krista got me to like really realize that while I wrote this to be your potatoes, carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, you're pretty common every day. Don't scare anybody with anything, right? But this is so much more depth of flavors and so much more interesting. And people say all the time, they're like, we think eating is so boring when you eat healthy, but when it's so interesting when you expand your boundaries to so many more foods. And that's what this book does. So dates, for instance. I didn't call for dates in that book. This is full of dates, right? Yeah. And just really learning about those foods that, chia seeds and flax seeds. I didn't call for that there. We do that here. These are the foods that have really great omega-3 fatty acids and really going to help propel people with the good fats that we need in our diet for our brain to help fight Alzheimer's disease. And so, not only are we managing your diabetes and improving your blood sugar, we're improving, your lipid levels and everything so that we reduce Alzheimer's, we reduce eye disease, we reduce all of it, cancer, all of that. So in this book, okay, you ready for my favorites in this one? I would say there's the chicken enchilada soup bar, which is in the slow cooker section, but you can do it on the stove too. But it's, we call the slow cooker chicken enchilada soup bar, and it's recipe number 1 in the 28-day kickstart. And we do a crock pot every Monday to kick off the week so that you can get 2 meals out of every crock pot. And then I would say is the pizzas. Have you tried any of the pizzas in here?
I have not, and I'm a pizza fanatic, so I need to jump in there and do that. And I would assume that those are probably also very good for a diabetic as well, because I think most of these recipes are no added sugar. They're usually all natural.
Exactly. Our goal is to keep it as low and added sugar as possible. And, 0 is ideal, but 2 to 4 in a day is okay too. I mean, there's, in fact, American Diabetes Association says that you can have, up to 32 grams of added sugars a day. You can have up to 9 times 4, but it's 9 times 4, 32 grams of added sugars a day. But the closer to 0, the better, right? Yeah. And, your pancreas can tolerate a little bit. It's the fact that we eat many times that. Many, many, many times that. That's the threshold, right? So, but being able to keep that low. So there's fruit sugars, there's added sugars, right? Fruit is natural and has fiber and is diluted with wonderful water. And then there's added sugar, which is just adding added sugar. So anyway, the pizza recipes, you can use a whole wheat pita bread for the base, or you can buy a good whole grain pita bread. And at the website, we have a recipe for a cauliflower pizza crust. You would be good at this. It's easy to make this cauliflower pizza crust. So it's like cauliflower. I mean, you get an extra vegetable. So, but the 2 pizza recipes in there that are really good is the Thai chicken pizza. Thai chicken pizza.
That sounds good.
And then the other one is the spinach artichoke pesto pizza. So you're using pesto for the bottom, and you pile on so much spinach onto this thing, so much spinach that it looks like, oh my gosh, it's like, you just pile on all the spinach because it cooks right down, and a little bit of fresh pineapple on there and artichokes. Did you know that artichokes are the highest in antioxidants of any food on the planet?
I missed that. I didn't read that anywhere. I'm glad you said that. And so my question to you then is, why would they not be on your daily defenders list? I
Yeah,
don't
great,
believe
great.
artichokes made the list, and
That is
I do want to stay on this topic for a little bit.
Well, the Daily Defenders list, I keep this posted here. Everybody wonders what this is, but it's 9 superfoods that we should include every day. And I didn't think I could get people to eat artichokes every single day. That's why it's not on there, because they probably would never listen to me ever again if I told them they had to eat artichokes every single day. But I tried to pick foods that are high in antioxidants, that are foods you would enjoy eating pretty much every day.
Yeah, and well, I have my list handy. I put it on my phone. I have it printed out, and it's on my desktop computer.
Good.
And nuts were an easy one for me.
Nuts.
And oh my gosh, did I find? I think the best nuts for the money are Costco stores. I load up every time I go to Costco, and then I picked up on a brand of wild blueberries, Wyman's wild blueberries.
I've got them in my freezer too.
And I couldn't believe it. I found those, a 4-pound bag for $9 and change. And they just are bursting with flavor. Strawberries, which I think I probably consume a couple of pints of strawberries every week.
That's great.
I'm a mushroom guru. I like my mushrooms, and I remembered this actually all the way back from 2019 when we first met, that for some reason a cooked mushroom is actually has more health benefits than a raw. Did I remember that correctly?
You remembered it correctly. You're a good student. And the reason why is that mushrooms have all these benefits, but they actually have a couple of not benefits. There's anti-nutrients in certain foods, and mushrooms are one of those that have that. And cooking very simply diminishes and removes those. So why wouldn't you want all the good without any of the anti-nutrient bad? You want all the good. So that's why, not to say that if you're at a salad bar and you have a raw mushroom on it, it's not the end of the world. But since we are doing this, let's get all this amazing goodness from mushrooms, because mushrooms help us fight dementia and cancer. So let's get some mushrooms on board much more often. So let's make sure they're cooked.
Yeah. I did make some mistakes, though. I've always liked my melons, whether it's a cantaloupe or, of course, watermelon when it's in season.
Yeah.
And I realized that probably wasn't helping my A1C, because I think I was consuming a bit too much. I think you can get too much of a good thing, right?
A serving of watermelon is this is a cup, and it's a cup and a quarter. So this many cubed watermelons. So however size you cubed them, it's a nice size serving. You put this probably in a Pyrex bowl, probably like this. In a Pyrex bowl like this is probably a decent, wonderful watermelon serving. Heaping like this would be perfect. But it is easy with the giant bowl, standing there, and you can down 3 Coca-Colas worth of sugar. But this much is perfectly acceptable and good for you. The lycopenes, you're getting so much good for it. And when you consume that into your body, it's very hydrating, and it has a lot of really good. And as long as you stop that 15 grams of carbohydrate, that is the amount. Your body's like, oh, I can do that. No problem. Oh, 45 and 60. Because we kept going. That's the problem. So people tend to throw something like watermelon under the bus, or they'll throw a banana under the bus and say people with diabetes shouldn't have a banana. A banana is a 2-for-1 deal. It's actually 2 fruits in one, just the way it's big. It doesn't have a lot of water in it compared to an apple. It has a lot of water. So there's 15 carbohydrates in an apple, and there's 30 in a banana. Does that make a banana bad? It means it's 2 for 1. It means
2 servings.
It's 2 servings, one for your wife, half for your wife, half for you. Unless I'm just came from the gym and I'm really hungry and I have a banana, I'll eat the whole thing. But that's okay because I have that and a couple of handfuls of peanuts with it. And, you've got that protein, you got a little bit there and you got that a little bit there. But if I'm having it with oatmeal or something, no, just a half a banana, of course.
Well, let's talk about oatmeal since you mentioned it. That was another change that I made. Maybe you could describe the difference, because I know you can get the instant oatmeals in the packets. It has a little sweetener and whatnot, and
added sugars.
That's
now
gone.
You know how to look
that's
at that
gone.
line.
So I have switched. I now, thanks to you, have switched to steel cut oats.
Nice.
They take a little longer to cook. I don't like doing the overnight. I like them hot, and I mix them with my wild blueberries. But what is the difference? Why are some oats healthier versus the other more convenient types?
So that word processing, the less processing, the more, the closer to the whole groat, the whole wheat berry, and the whole oat. Steel cut is just cut in half, and so that we can cook them and eat them. So that's what steel cut is. So your body has to I gotta work on this a little bit to get this turned into blood sugar. So it takes a little bit longer. Whereas those instants have been rolled and pulverized, and they cook really quickly, and then they added sugars to it. So, we think that that's so easy to open up a packet and do that. Whether you're using old fashioned and you're scooping, you just have a 1/4 cup or half cup, third cup, scoop, and you microwave it yourself, or make I just love it. The steel cut, to be able to do steel cut, that's fantastic. And a lot of people do steel cut the morning of in their Instapot, and they do it very quickly. So however you want to do it, oats are fantastic. And you don't need instant. You don't need that. And so tell listeners how you flavor it. You said blueberries. Do you also add cinnamon?
I always add cinnamon.
Yeah, yes. It adds an illusion of sweetness that makes it kind of seem sweet, but it's not really. You've got natural sugars coming from the blueberries, maybe nuts to that as well.
Sometimes I do add a few nuts, but I eat so many nuts typically during the day, and it might even be my evening or afternoon snack. So I feel like I'm doing okay. And what I find though is that the frozen Wyman's wild blueberries work so well because they're always the same freshness, and they actually thaw in the bowl while the oatmeal is cooking. And so then there's a little juice in the bottom of the bowl to mix up, and pretty generous heap of cinnamon on there. It tastes delicious. It stays with me a lot longer than the other types did. The other type, I was hungry in an hour.
Yep. Very good point. Another thing that helps with satiety is protein, and making sure that there's some sort of milk or some sort of a protein to help you. But the steel cut, that's interesting. That's doing a lot to help you with satiety, helping that last. And that may be just enough for the ticket. But whether it's, a lot of people are using almond milk, but there's really no protein in almond milk, like 1 gram in a cup. I'm an advocate for, organic soy milk. I think organic soy milk is, as long as it's organic. If it's not organic, I don't recommend it. But organic soy milk, I think, is a high protein, excellent choice. Eden Foods is my favorite. But I also get it at Aldi. You can also get it at Costco. But organic soy milk. To be able to add just a little bit, boost a little bit of protein at breakfast to really help bring that home. Another thing that adds protein is to be able to add to that. Hang on, hold the phone here. Is to add hemp hearts. I think we talked about this in the course. I think I talked about.
I see the Kirkland brand, so I know you picked those up at Costco.
Yep. I am a Costco fan. There's so many great things at Costco. These hemp hearts. A tablespoon is going to add 5 grams of protein to your breakfast, which is going to be really, really great.
I'll give that a whirl, and I'm also going to give the organic soy milk a try.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I do both to make sure you get enough protein at breakfast.
Well, we've been talking a lot about the diabetes, which of course is of personal interest to me. You know, but I know that you also have you've created specific programs for lowering blood pressure, for lowering cholesterol, and you know, you talk about the 3 foods. This is the one I believe on YouTube that has had several million views for each of those programs. So what motivated you to create and share those specific videos?
Because of the vast amount of people that are on cholesterol lowering medications, and they have aches and pains and so many side effects from that they're just like, it's hard to stay on it. And blood pressure, they end up not being able to do. I know one woman who loved to ride horseback, but her blood pressure medicine made her dizzy. She didn't feel safe riding horseback, so her life was not full. She didn't feel safe driving. How full is your life when you this medication is doing this to you? And her doctor was like, well, at least she didn't have a stroke. And she's like, well, okay, well, yeah, I appreciate medications being there to bring me out of a hypertensive crisis. And she had asked her doctor, can I get off these medications? Can I do this with diet? And her doctor said, no, you'll always be on medication. It's just the way it is. It's hereditary. It's just the way it is. And she went to YouTube. She said, how to lower my blood pressure naturally. Boom. She saw my smiling face. She took it. And within a month, she went into her doctor after taking that 4-part course and getting her certificate. And she went in and her doctor was like, you're on we got to remove one of your blood pressure medicines. You know, your blood pressure is too low. And she's like, oh, okay. So she removed one. So then she came back 4 months later, and she was like, oh my, your blood pressure is really low. I don't understand. What is it you're doing? We need to remove you from that blood pressure medicine. And she's like, Doc, you told me I'd never get off blood pressure medicine. She says, what are you doing? And she said, I'm not just lowering my sodium, I'm increasing my potassium. Because when you do both of those in opposition, that's where the money is. She looks at her, she goes, that's where the money is. And she said, I don't know what to say. She goes, nobody ever does this. And I'm like, everybody should be doing this. Everybody should be shocking their doc. And they can, just like you are shocking their doc. So I was motivated because to be able to it's hard to tell somebody everything they need to do. Like people say, can I do a one-on-one visit with you? I don't do one-on-one visits. I say, take my course. My course is, that's my one-on-one with you. I'm talking to you in the camera from my kitchen. I show you everything, like everything you need to know to get and if you do those things and you still aren't off metformin, or you aren't off your blood pressure medicine or your Lipitor, if you're not, then you can tell your doctor, I've done it all because I taught you everything. It's the check mark. It's the everything. Dining out, how to read a label. It's everything for that disease specific thing. And then you can feel good about it. And then you can take the medication that you need to take. But I really, truly believe that even if you do the medication for a while and you do the diet, sometimes it takes a while. You got to inch into the diet, right? You can't just change overnight, except for you. I think you've changed overnight. But to be able to inch into it, I'm glad your doctor gave you a couple months to work on it, and you did. And that just jazzes me more than anything. I know that working at St. Joe Hospital, I was hired to be at the end of the line when people would get their blood pressure and their cholesterols, and then you got to give them advice. Oh, okay, your cholesterol is high, and so you need to do this, and that. I had like 5 minutes with these people. Like, I'm going to change their life in 5 minutes. And then they're going to go to their doctor and say, oh yeah, I talked to a dietitian for a whole 5 minutes and I did everything she told me to do. And I guess I have to go on medication. No, give me 4 times and I give you 4 assignments and I move you through a process. And we talk about exercise too in all of those sessions. And so we just released Robbie's testimonial success story about how she absolutely got off her blood pressure medicine and shocked her doc. And then I have so many more. Joni did the same thing, and Terry did the same thing. We have so many people that are doing that. So yay you.
Well, yay you, because you're providing You're providing people with the
Mhm.
information that they need to
Mhm.
make that change. And, not only getting rid of the aches and pains, but
Yeah.
if you think about, if it's just a $10 or a $15 copay, every $5 that you're spending a month on drugs is $60 a year. So that more
Yeah.
than pays for the online cookbook or
Yeah.
buying better
Mhm.
food while you're shopping, and makes it so enjoyable. So
Yep.
you've already given me several takeaways, which I've made notes.
Mhm.
But for our listeners looking to make healthier choices, whether it's to reduce their cholesterol level, lose some weight, or blood pressure, what are three simple actions they could take starting now to live better longer?
Okay, three things. One, like we talked about, reading labels for added sugars and adjusting your sweet tooth so that when you eat an orange, you're like, wow, that was delicious. I just had dessert. When I get done with dinner and I think, oh, I want something sweet. Oh, a little tangerine, clementine is just the number, like bing, and check mark that. It's like that clementine did it. If you can get to where 3 fruits a day replaces dessert for you, let fruit be your candy 9 times out of 10. And when you do have a dessert, half it, you can have it. That's my saying. Half it and you can have it, right? Small amounts is here and there on occasion. And, yes, holidays happen and birthdays happen. Half it, you can have it. But for the most part, most days is just, fruit. So having your fruit bowl in your house, having it in your refrigerator, whatever you need to do, but having fruit and berries, making berries be a big part of that. All righty. So the next thing is I really think everybody needs a 24/7 veggie tray. You know how you make a veggie tray for the holidays and when company comes over and you make a dip and everybody eats lots of vegetables because like you made this thing. Well, why not have one 24/7? I mean, like always, like have a special container, a special spot in your fridge that's always there. You pull it out before when you go to make dinner. When you're making dinner, you're just like not eating crackers and granola bar because you're hungry because and just pull out that veggie tray and you'll be like, oh my gosh, veggie tray, veggie tray. And hummus is much better than ranch dip. But if you have to have ranch dip, I don't really care. Whatever gets the veggies down the hatch. But a 24/7 veggie tray, you just replenish it, you just refill it, and we do it once a week. And it gets pretty low around, Saturday, but Sunday we refill it again. So veggie tray for the week. And you can use that, learn to roast vegetables, learn to just get a bowl, lots of any veggies, oil, salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and roast it 400 degrees and toss it, roast it like 40 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. And asparagus or roasting sweet potatoes, roasting broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, start roasting vegetables, you'll start eating a lot of vegetables. And if you have a convection roast oven, you have an air fryer.
Yeah.
A lot of people have that convection roast button and they don't know how to use it, don't know what it is. Well, they're marketing stoves now. They don't say convection anymore. They say air fryer. And people are like, oh, I'm buying the one with the air fryer. It's like, it is more expensive to have a convection roast. It's got the fan in the back. So I don't have an air fryer and Krista doesn't have one either because we both our ovens work perfectly for us and we can do 3 sheet pans at a time. And you can't really do that in a little air fryer. But I know a lot of people love their air fryer. So there was the things, your 24/7 veggie tray, learn to roast veggies. You'll eat many more vegetables. They're delicious. Make fruit be your dessert, but reading labels, learning to dine out because we're always going to dine out. Dining out doesn't have to be a degradation to our diet. It can be a great time as well. And then those moving 10 minutes after every meal. It's as good as an insulin injection. It's really powerful.
Well,
So
Nancy tells me that 10 minutes is a perfect amount of time for me to get up and clean the kitchen. after we eat.
Oh, so you're supposed to be stepping in place while you're cleaning the kitchen. And it's funny how so many times cleaning the kitchen is activity, and we do that. And a lot of people are like, I can't, I have to clean the kitchen first. And after I clean the kitchen, well, I don't really feel like going for a walk. And I'm like, get up and go for a walk. Go for a walk first before you do the dishes. And a lot of women are like, oh no, I'm not leaving my house without my kitchen clean. It's like, go for a walk or, step in place or whatever you need to do. But, I suppose you can be doing your dishes and you can be active. I mean, you can be active. You can do it.
Well, I try to do that. And, we already talked about some favorite recipes, but I did want to share this with you because I think our listeners could really benefit from this. I did kick the bottled salad dressing habit. And my go-to salad dressing is olive oil, apple cider vinegar, and then I have some whole grain mustard in the fridge that has no sugar whatsoever in it.
Good.
And I just squirt a little of that in there, shake it up in my plastic bottle, and it's absolutely delicious. I always have
oregano
dressing
to that. You can add lots of oregano. Oregano has amazing medicinal purposes to it, antioxidant power. You can triple the antioxidants of a meal by adding that, and adds a great flavor. But that you really don't mess up a good thing. You got your Dijon mustard, and apple cider vinegar is incredibly valuable also in the fight for diabetes and overall health, and olive oil. So great. I love it.
Well, I'm learning so much. Now, I know you work with companies to enhance employee wellness programs. And that's actually how we met, because I know that you were hired by the company I worked for at the time before retiring. What I'm curious to know is, how do you measure change in a workplace? How do you track results?
I love, I'm passionate about this because we do an amazing job of it. So we have at the beginning, we assess people. We ask them about their habits, what they know about their knowledge, and about their choices, their habits. And then we ask them things like what their weight is, and if they have high blood pressure or high cholesterol, and if they have diabetes or are on diabetes-lowering medicine. So we ask them these questions at the beginning, and then we proceed to educate them. So each of these questions are geared around our learning objectives, right? And so then we do the course, and then at the end, we bring up those same questions and ask them again. And then we're able to compare those, and we're able to there's monetary, they've been assessed. So we have people who say they have high cholesterol or on cholesterol lowering medicine. And then at the end, they are not, they don't have high cholesterol. They are on cholesterol lowering medicine. And there's a dollar value to each of those. And we can actually assess that and figure a monetary ROI compared to what the cost of the program was for me to deliver it for them. And so when you look at this cost savings or cost avoidance, and you compare this, we generate an ROI of always well over, for every dollar spent, over $6 return. It's often an $8 return. So some courses as much as a 1 to 16 return. That's on our depression program called How Greens Fights the Blues. And your past employer has used all of my programs, and they keep bringing How Greens Fights the Blues back every single January because of this tremendous ROI. And all of the programs, and then we just ask them, how do you feel? Well, how do you feel? How do you feel about having taken this program? Are you glad your employer offered this program to you? And the comments, makes the employer feel like $1 million. They're like, oh my gosh, we're obviously doing the right thing. Even if they only got a 1-to-1 return, it would be the right thing to do based on these comments. But here they are, they're making money. So I'm like, look, I'm making you money here. Let's do another program. I'm making you money here. Let's do another program. So we're making you people happy, improving their employee experience, making them healthier. And when they're healthier, they feel better. And when they feel better, they work harder. It's
Absolutely.
it just really makes a lot of sense. So we have these tremendous ROI reports. We're highly complimented for our reports. In fact, when I go to other companies who don't do reports, they're like, how come we don't do reports like this? And it's like, here's how you do it. I mean, here's how you do it. And they're like, wow, this is very good reporting. So I get complimented on our reports. So our reports are great. Thanks for asking. So I love to get to work with work sites. I love it when the employer is willing to pay that $150 fee for them. I mean, it's only $150 for me to tell you everything I know about cholesterol or blood pressure or diabetes or depression. I mean, that's not a lot. And there's a lot of coupons out to get it even lower than that. But to be able to just have the employer pay for it for you. And some places will give them an incentive of $50 if they complete the program. I love it when they do that. And then people are highly incented to finish. Otherwise, it's just up to them to finish the program, right? And they usually do because it's a really fun program. So it's, thank you for asking. I get on fire about our online work. People can do it on their own. We have lots of people that do it on their own. Zonya.com. I'd love for people to come and visit me there. That's where you can watch Shop and Enroll or Shop and Enroll. That's where you would learn about the programs and the books. But there's lots of videos and lots of recipes posted there. And then the other website is eatrealamerica.com. eatrealamerica.com. And I'm so glad, Mike, that you're using the site, enjoying the site. When you're a member, you get an email every Tuesday. It's a coaching tip. You get an email every Thursday, and it's meal ideas. And the meal ideas, are from Krista. She's like, here's these ideas for what's in season, right? And the holidays coming up, or it's Super Bowl. What are ideas for Super Bowl? What are ideas for Valentine's Day? And what are ideas for the spring and asparagus and all the things that come in the spring and then the fall and summer and 4th of July, so there's just, I think being in the boat, being out of our processed food world and living in the boat, it's being excited, continually interested in keeping it so delicious and nutritious and so many great ideas and keeping it simple so that you can continue to live this no added sugar lifestyle. To live this real food, no processed, no additives, preservatives. Lifestyle.
Yeah. And it's why I've made this mission of live better longer so important. Because I know modern science can keep us alive a long time.
Yes, it can.
But that doesn't mean you necessarily feel great. And, I'm living proof. I feel better today than I probably have for a good 20 years. So I know things are working. I know they are. So, and by the way, we will put all of the how to find you, how to find Eat Real America. We'll put all that in the notes for the listeners' convenience.
Good.
But before we close, I'd like to know. So what's next for you? Are there any new programs, books, or projects in the work that we should keep our eye out for?
Yeah, there's always something new, that's for sure. So the latest program, Fight Cancer with Your Fork, is available, actually. It's brand new, super excited, but I'll have yet to do my YouTube video that I'll do. That's the, top 3 foods to help fight cancer with these 3 foods. So that will be coming. And then also in January, because it's weight loss month, right? And because GLP-1s, injectables, all these things to help us with weight loss, I'm going to be doing natural alternatives to GLP-1s.
Nice.
And so that'll be a free webinar, and then it'll end up on my YouTube channel as well. So our goal is to always I don't put lots of videos out. I just try to put really high quality videos out when I do put one out. And this is going to be everything about natural alternatives, because there's so much we can do nutritionally. There's so much we can do to, because the downside, all the side effects of those and the fact that you have to be on them for the rest of your life, as soon as you stop, you gain the weight again. How can we modulate our appetite? How can we do it in a healthful way? And how can we build our nutrition stores instead of tear them down? Because taking those injectables tears it down. It also, you lose muscle mass. You do not want to lose muscle mass. One of the biggest things to living longer is preserving muscle mass for as long as you can, and building your muscle mass. That's your metabolism, but it's also your immune system is a lot of things, and also the gut. So keeping a healthy gut microflora. So muscle mass, healthy gut microflora are two things that take a hit with GLP-1s. So there's alternatives. And so this is going to be a great thing that's coming. So that'll be a whole program that I'll have developed by this time next year, is a whole program with natural alternatives to GLP-1s.
Well, it must feel good to be transforming so many lives. And
Thank you.
I'm sure you get all sorts of accolades and success stories that it probably keeps you going. It keeps you fired up.
Does.
I know
me.
you don't rest on anything. You're
I
gonna
appreciate that.
keep going. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you. It's success stories like you. It's people like you that inspire me to keep doing this kind of thing. And you're right. We can do it. We can do it. A little bit of knowledge, a little bit of ideas, a little bit of encouragement. And like, wow, I didn't know that. And when you don't know that, and also turning knowing into doing. Yeah. A lot of us know what to do. It's just doing it. So I love to be that master of helping it. It's like, we can do this. You can do this. You can do this like this. So turning knowing into doing is one of my favorite things. And my other favorite thing is taking convenience and conviction and bringing those together. Convenience. It's not convenience or conviction. It's conviction and convenience. We can have them both. And that's when you win. And it tastes delicious. It's got to be delicious. Did I say that? It's always got to be delicious.
and it is. I can vouch for that. Zonya, it was so nice to have you as a guest today. I wanted to expose all of my listeners to your expertise and your dedication to proper nutrition. And I love that you make it fun. So thank you again for being our guest today.
Mike, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.